Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers. If you have not already done so, please change your name to indicate what role you are doing today. In terms of the meeting, you guys know the deal. If you're not speaking, please mute yourself. Please stay on camera if at all possible, because it's much more engaging if we can see everybody's smile. Other than that, let's get this party started, and I will turn this meeting over to our lovely and experienced president, Miss Yasmin.
Thank you so much, Tiger. Welcome you all, the storytelling group. Welcome again. I am very delighted to see so many lovely faces and the smiles around, irrespective of the day of the hour. For some of you, it's very early morning. For some of you, it's very late. But what makes us is most interesting and engaging is to see you all so fresh, irrespective of the day of the hour, and with a smile. So I welcome all the guests, and I see the guests are no more the guests who are visiting us for the first time, but are very much part of the RSS family. So let's get going. And to begin with, I have to invite the person who is going to let us go on this very interesting journey. And you all might be waiting because she is our immediate past president, and you need not want, I would fall short if I'll have to explain all the positions and the roles and the clubs she is part of at this Toastmaster, very Toastmaster year. The lady who comes from lively place called Bali in Indonesia, but have recently been seen more in US than in Bali, and so is she now. Ladies and gentlemen, our Toastmaster of the day, Ayu Anantya. So let's welcome Ayu to take up as the Toastmaster for the day.
Thank you, Yasmin. Lively place of Bali. That's very much true. Thank you for your very kind introduction. I would like to again welcome Ravi, long time no see. And thank you everybody, all the members, and Stephen, soon to be the member of RSS. Our theme today is weakness. Weakness is a sign of strength. I'm not sure that everybody agree with this, and we will see along the way throughout the meeting. At least one thing that I want to share with you, some sentences saying that being vulnerable can help us to work through our emotions easier rather than pushing them away. Vulnerability fosters good emotional and mental health. It is also a sign of courage. We become more resilient and brave when we embrace who we truly are and what we are feeling. With that being said, let's move on to start our meeting by having the team introducing their roles for today's meeting. I would like to call upon our timer first to explain the role. And what do you think about being vulnerable? Ruku.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, for the question. Being vulnerable. To me, this term is something that we face in our everyday life. In everything we are doing, we face vulnerability, or sometimes we ourselves face where we feel very vulnerable to many of the things which we are not acquainted to do and which we find really difficult to do. But at times when we are able to do it after facing all the vulnerability, that is what success is all about. So now telling about my role today, I'll be the timer of the day. And for the prepared speech, timings would be 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll show the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll show the red card. The speaker will have 30 seconds to wind up their speech. Now, moving on to our table topic session. At 1 minute, I'll show the green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, yellow card. And at 2 minutes, red card. Same goes with the table topics. In the other 30 seconds, the speaker would have to wind up all the speakings which they would be doing. Now, moving on to the evaluation part. At 2 minutes, I'll be showing the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, yellow card. And at 3 minutes, red card. So I'll be noting down the time and I will report it at the end of the meeting. Thank you, and back to you, the DM.
Thank you, our timer today, Rukaya Motagam. You know, I just gave you those color card and you just made it to the Prezi. Wow, that's fast. Nice. Next, our role taker, and thank you for sharing your thought about vulnerability. And then next stop is to our grammarian. Stephen, what do you think about, please explain your role, and before that, could you please share with us what do you think about mental health?
I'm not so sure it's your internet, my internet. It's breaking up.
I would like you to share, explain your role, and before that, talking about mental health. Stephen, are you with us?
Yeah. Sorry, I think there's some internet issue just now. It's okay now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So first of all, yeah, I'm Stephen. I think I'm a senior guest already. I've been here. I've been around for many times. So first of all, I would like to say something about being vulnerable. I think it really works because I showed my vulnerability to my boss and it worked well. So I always ask him for help for some questions, or it works well on me. Yeah, in my work. Okay, so come back to the role of grammarian. As a grammarian, I will pay attention to the good usages and the bad usages in your speaking. I will jot down some good usages from your speeches. Of course, I will also pay attention to some bad pronunciation and the bad usages from your speeches. So, and then come to the word of day, which is, thanks, is vulnerable for the word of the day. I hope you guys will use this word of the day as many times as possible. Yeah, and the meeting, I will deliver a report based on my observation for this whole meeting. Yeah, another thing is, I think Jerry's here. Maybe you want Jerry to take the counter role. He wants to take, yeah, maybe Jerry, you take the counter. I think we're missing one counter, right?
Hello, Stephen. Sorry, I just finished one meeting, so I'm a little tired. So
try, come on. Yeah, you be the counter, okay?
yeah, I just finished one meeting and record the meeting notes. So I just want to have a rest and listen to you what you guys will say.
Okay. Okay. I will do the counter. No problem. Thank you, Stephen, for trying, and thank you, Jerry, for bravely saying no. It's also okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. So for me, vulnerable, I remember when I was very young, my mom said, "Don't cry. When somebody cry, it shows that you are weak." But lately, I learned that after crying, it actually give a lot of release or relief feeling to me. And whenever I can cry, even though sometimes alone, or if we cry in front of somebody who told us a sad story, it's actually it's more empathetic to the person who told the story, and for me, I feel relief. So is it weakness or is it strength? I will choose as a strength. And for the counter role, what I'm going to do is I will just generally observe how we do good or not so good in terms of filler words. And filler word means say so, repeated word when it is disrupting, when it disrupt the speech flow. When it's not disrupting, I will mention that it's not disrupting. That's the role of counter. And now I would like to one more person, calling upon our general evaluator, Ravi, and share with us your role today, explain about your role, also talking about something about vulnerability.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Ayu. Talking about vulnerability, I would say in every Toastmasters meeting, we have prepared speakers as well as impromptu speakers, and they are vulnerable because they, irrespective of whether they have prepared or they haven't, they are being vulnerable by sharing their innermost thoughts and feelings with us. And here we create a safe space for them to do that. And that helps them become more stronger than they already are. That's what comes to my mind, talking about vulnerability. And I would also want to reiterate what Ayu mentioned a little while ago. I think when you are in a situation where tears roll down your cheek, that's always a sign of strength, not of weakness, because being vulnerable and being able to express it in front of other people, and I've had a situation like that in the last few weeks, I think it made me feel stronger later. So indeed, I love the theme that weakness is a sign of strength, and I echo what you mentioned, Ayu, about being vulnerable. Thank you. As the general evaluator.
Go ahead, Ravi.
As the general evaluator, I'll be making note of the proceedings of the entire meeting from the beginning till the end, and I'll be sharing my observations on points of improvement. Just as I mentioned that we have prepared speakers and impromptu speakers and all of that, each of us is a role player, and having feedback on how the meeting proceeded would help us improve our meetings for not only our members, but also for our guests. And that will improve the experience for everybody. And that's the reason why we would want to have feedback in every meeting. And that's where one of the people who provides feedback is the general evaluator. Thank you. Back to you, Ayu.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator Ravi Shankar. Woohoo! I feel so excited because to see you again. Fellow Toastmaster, we are now ready to go to the first part of our meeting, which is prepared speech. And we have two speakers. The first one is Yasmin Terwala, who will be evaluated by Deja Stanley. And then the next one is Michelle Albaldin, who will be evaluated by Tiger. Let's just have a little moment for Deja to share what her thought about vulnerability before we go to Yasmin. Go ahead, Deja.
I agree with a lot of everything that people are saying today. Vulnerability can definitely be a strength. I think being vulnerable also is a wonderful opportunity to see how good people can be in response to your vulnerability. How beautiful the human race can be when they see a homeless man on the street or a single mother that needs help, and they are vulnerable, and humanity comes and helps these people, and it's just a beautiful thing. Back to you, Ayu.
Deja, would you like to introduce Yasmin or like mentioning all the title and everything?
Yes. Yasmin, I don't know if you communicated your title. You said you were having difficulty with it.
Okay, then I will help you, Deja, because Yasmin already mentioned it to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you, Deja. Fellow Toastmaster, here it is. Yasmin Talwala. She is now doing her pathway project on leadership development level 3. Inspire your audience. And the title is Let's Not Be Manipulated. Let's not be manipulated. Yasmin Talwala.
Thank you, ma'am. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and respected guests. Let's not be manipulated, not by anyone, even these donkeys. What do you think when you see them? They are happy, aren't they? Yes. I want you all to be very honest and put in the chat the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word happiness. Be very honest, and the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word happiness. Everyone, please. What do you relate with happiness? You can't take time. Quick. Happy, peace, ice cream, peace and joy. Quick. No thinking. Delicious food, smile. 3 most important people in my life. The song Happy, can't recall name of the singer. Cool. I have a lot of answers. And you all did not disappoint me, because that is what I expected. None of you is going to write money. It's not the money that comes to our mind when we relate the word happiness. So then, how about going to the land of living without money? Is it a too radical idea to live without money? Well, guess how humans lived before the invention of money. Think why they started relating money with happiness. What brings us happiness? You all mentioned everything but not money. Maybe money brings us comfort. Maybe money brings us the services which could make us happy. But what has been the trade-off of acquiring those services? And let me ask you one more important question. What made the origin of those services? Take a simple example. You might prefer to go to a restaurant than cooking at home. A restaurant offers service. And the reason you might choose to go to a restaurant than cooking at home is perhaps because you are short of time. And why are you short of time? Because they connected the notion of time being money. You started spending your time to earn money. Isn't it? And the same money we gave to obtain the services. What brings more joy? I have heard many people still saying that they express themselves, their creativity is expressed through cooking. So cooking was happiness, was joy. And it was taken away to put it into a centralized system of restaurant. Once in a while, yes, it's a different experience. We want to have a different multi-cuisine multi-cuisine, but guess what? If it becomes a regular practice. This is just one example. Take another example. Ooh, ladies here, beautiful ladies here. They want to go to spa and saloon, don't they? Yes, they love. They love getting massaged and pampered and being in beauty saloon. They love that services. But then ask yourself, is this because you are getting happy? Or is it because you have to live the social norm of beauty? Or what you hear from your peers saying, you know, we enjoy when we go to the spa and the saloon and the massage parlor. If the answer is first, you are doing it for your happiness, nothing wrong about it. If you have money, it brings you happiness, brings you joy, that's absolutely fine. But if the reason is the second one, because you are being manipulated by your peers and networks, that this is perhaps a nicer world and you have to be looking wiser as per to the societal standards set, then please rethink you are being manipulated. Because the money you're going to spend there is hard-earned through your time. That's valuable. And the other most valuable thing that you give as a trade of time, health. Many of you in the vicious circle of life are trading off the second most valuable thing you have achieved, that's health, and prioritizing money over it. So anytime, every time you have to spend, think about it. Is it needed? The items that you have in front of you, just take that as an example. Just think the first item that is in front of you, perhaps the laptop. We are all sitting in front of the screen. First question, is it needed? Maybe yes. Ask yourself the second question. Do you already have another one? Is it more than what you need? Do you have 2 or 3 sitting with you? Third question, is it going to go long term? Or you are thinking of already replacing it with an ultra modern laptop that has come into a market just because you want to show yourself as techie? Well, that you might think is bringing you happiness, but balances with the trade-off you're doing, money. What are the most happy creatures you know? Birds. At least those are the one I know.
Red color.
You have money? No, they don't, but they are happy. So let's break free from being manipulated. Let's not be manipulated. Giving it back to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Wow, it's really unexpectedly good. Oh, I will say nothing now because if I say something, I will take the job of evaluator. I will let the evaluator tell whatever Deja would like to say later on. But really, thank you. It's just interesting for me the way you started and end it. Next thing is going to be Michelle Alpalim, and the evaluator is Tiger. So Tiger, before, are you ready to introduce Michelle? No? Do you have her title? Do you have it?
Yes, I have it.
Oh, okay. So before you introduce Michelle, please share with us. This is just the sentences first. One of the most, how to say this? It is a lot of things sometimes shows seems like a weakness, but it's actually a sign of strength. First thing first that I found in the internet is being kind. Tell me your thought about being kind in the in that relation with weakness is a sign of strength.
Is it Tiger you're asking or me?
Tiger.
Okay.
We don't want to know about you, Michelle. See, right there. That is a random act of kindness. Do you see what I did with Michelle? I made her smile. Now, I wouldn't do that with Yalan because she doesn't know me. So I would be very careful. But I think random acts of kindness are critical to our society. And when I say random act of kindness, I'm not talking about giving $10 to somebody. I'm talking about a smile. Hi, good morning. How you doing, Stephen? Nice to see you back, Ravi. Wow, what a great smile. Or in my case, hey, Ravi, I love your haircut. Things like this are important and they don't have to be big things. So I think kindness goes a long way. Now, having said that, let's get to Michelle's speech. I won't tell you what she said in the chat, but something like, I have 5 paths, so I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with this one. However, it is connecting with storytelling and simple. Giving a speech, telling a story, that is the objective. The title is, I didn't write it down. The title is the same as the theme for the day. So I will let you guys roll with that. Michelle, it's all yours.
You can always trust Tiger to have an interesting introduction. Forgot the speech. Yes, I would like to start with a show of hands. How many were told as you were growing up that showing weakness is, or crying or showing that you're vulnerable is weak? Can I have a show of hands there? I think we all had the same playbook from our parents or the people who were helping us, trying to help us. So I personally, my mom was I think you would use the word stoic. I never saw her cry. Maybe she did, but I never saw her cry. I never did. And I had this feeling that showing tears, especially in front of other people, not just your family, but in front of strangers even, was a huge sign of weakness. And you see it in movies, you read it in books where the strong person never cries. And so I actually, as I was growing up, I very rarely cried. Even when you fall down, don't cry, just get up. That was the kind of mindset that I was brought up with. And fast forward to 1996, I had just been a few weeks before, actually a few days before, I had just been hired as HR director for a big company in the Philippines. The head office was based in Geneva, Switzerland, but the office was in the Philippines. I was the HR director, and the previous HR director had, well, they said she resigned, but actually many of the people said we fired her because they were wearing black armbands and refusing to go to HR as long as she was there. That was the kind of dynamic that HR department had with the people. And here comes Michelle. Come in. And I was very enthusiastic. I had many changes which would help the company. But some of the changes involved, well, it's a change. So it involved removing certain benefits they had and replacing it with other benefits, which in the long term, they would have more advantage. But in the short term, to give you an example, we were canceling their 4 months based on last pay if they resign, which is a crazy rule, but that's a different story. We're replacing that with a fund. They would still have that money. They could borrow it, but it would still be there. In other words, it was like a secure loan and it would grow with interest. So it was a great plan for them. In fact, I called it the providential plan. And I was trying to sell this to the employees, and I could feel there was very strong resistance. And so I was having town halls with different departments, talking with them, trying to explain the situation. I would get this, I would feel that their eyes were really not connecting. They would be sitting there because they were paid on company time to attend our meetings, but I did not feel the connection. And I was feeling very exhausted, but of course, I was showing that I am the HR director. I am strong. I know what I'm saying. And I always came across businesslike, professional, lower the voice a little bit, so you sound very professional. I will never forget, I was meeting with the night shift. I had been working straight through past 12 hours because this company was 24/7. So working in the night shift, was explaining to them how these benefits would work. And then to this day, 1996 to now, I'll never forget his name, Dante Angeles raises his hand and says, "Ma'am, how can we be sure that this benefit is really going to happen?" And I said, "Because I am saying this to you. I'm the HR director." And he said, "Well, what does it mean? I mean, how can we trust you?" And suddenly when I heard this, that my integrity was being questioned, how can we trust you? I didn't know where it came from, but all of a sudden I was just crying, not little misty-eyed, but I was crying. Somebody handed me Kleenex. So I just took it and then finally I said, "Excuse me," and I kind of left, but they could hear me blowing my nose. And I was thinking, oh God, I might as well resign. I mean, HR director crying like a baby. And shortly after that, I went home, took a nap, came back the next day. The receptionist greeted me with a very nice smile. "Good morning, ma'am." Like, okay, probably she didn't know that the HR director had histrionics the night before. But everybody seemed to be smiling nicely at me. The cold front that I had been experiencing several days had melted. And bottom line, people came over to me and apologized and said they were so sorry for being so hard on me. It was not me, it was the previous HR director. I realized that, and that was not staged. I don't know if I could stage how to cry. Cry. No, I can't do it. But I realized that breaking down and just bawling in front of this entire night shift was actually for them an indication of my strength of character, the strength of my integrity, and the strength of my belief in wanting to help them. And that started a beautiful relationship with the company. It's called SGS in short, but the full name is French, Société Générale de Surveillance. See, I did that well. That showed me, and so many other instances after that, not just in SGS, but in other situations, when you show that you're vulnerable, when you show that you're not made of wood, your heart can be broken, and you can cry and you can really feel the situation, then people actually see through the tears and they find strength in you. And at least that's my experience, or as the modern way is, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Michelle. You know what I learned from this speech? It's not the content, but something that you say, lower your voice to make it look professional, it will come across more professional. But thank you for sharing that story, Michelle, with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to, after listening to Michelle, that is our cut of time for the prepared speech. Let's move to the next session, which is table topic. And this session will be led by Christina.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. It's my pleasure to be your Table Topics Master today. Table Topics is our opportunity in Toastmasters to practice our impromptu speaking and have some fun. Often either in work or life in general, we can be asked to say a few words. And sometimes it can be daunting. We can feel vulnerable, especially when we weren't paying attention. The more we practice, the easier it gets. It can be an art form to share our thoughts succinctly and to be to the point. So we do have a time limit on this. In this session, we've got the ability to talk between 1 and 2.5 minutes. The green light's going to come on at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1:30, and the red at 2 minutes. I'm going to use the strategy of pose, pause, and pounce. And what that means is I'm going to pose a question, I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to pounce on my future points. So please pay attention. And if you'd like to be part of the Table Topics, please put your cameras on. So I'm going to start off with our theme for today. I've got a series of quotes and I'd like your take on them. So master your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. There's always things that we don't like to do. I've got loads of tasks I like to outsource. And the first person I'd like to call upon is our timer Roku. Roku, can you please tell us a time about the strengths you'd like to focus on and or the tasks you'd like to outsource, please? Thank you, Ayu. Multitasking as always. Please welcome to the stage, Roku. Are you available, Roku?
Timer is froze.
Ah, okay. In that case, can I please?
I'm sorry, I cannot. I'll just pass right now.
Okay, no problem. Can I call upon our guest Jerry, please, on that one? So just to remind you what the subject is, master your strengths, outsource your weaknesses. Please welcome Jerry.
You call me?
Yeah.
So can you repeat the question again?
Master your strengths, outsource your weaknesses. So what is it that you like to do that you're strong on? And what are the tasks that you like to outsource, that you like to give to somebody else, that you like to delegate, the things you don't like to do? I like to give my garden to somebody else to do. I don't like doing my garden.
Okay. So I think this topic is about strengths and weakness. The first thing we need to recognize that everybody got his or her own strengths and weakness. We need to admit it. Sometimes, for example, you are good at English, but other guys, they spend much energy and time to study English, but not so good. So this is, the strength. Sometimes is born, but sometimes is practice. So here, how we can do better. So it is a very good strategy that if you are not good at something, you can delegate to others. You can use the power and the strength from others and to achieve what you want to achieve. Then it will become your strength. So I think just like the prepared speech showed, if you show you are vulnerable, this sometimes can bring strength to you. So this is my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. I know it's always very tough for anyone for whom English is not their first language, which is so prevalent in this club. And I'm in awe of all of you at being able to talk so fluently in these situations. Well done. So next up, I have a topic. I have a quote. Great fiction is fueled on bad decisions and human weakness. And for that topic, I'd like to call on Yalan, please. Yalan, please let's welcome Yalan to the stage.
Hello. I'm sorry, Christina, would you repeat that again?
Yes, sure. Great fiction is fueled by bad decisions and human weakness. Please share your thoughts on that.
Okay, well, I would like to share something about this past week. So for those who know me, I am a weak person who does not like to move around at all. So if I had to choose between sitting up and lying down, I would most definitely choose to lie down, of course. So this past week, I went on a trip to the Yunnan province, which is the western side, along with the mountains. So all the people on the trip, they were initially wanted to go hiking with me. And of course I said no, like without a heartbeat. I said, no, I'm not going. I'll stay in the hotel and watch the mountains from afar. Then my son came along. He said, I want to go hiking. And I was like, no, I don't want to. But if you really want to go, I'll go with you. So we started at 3,000 kilometers, which is about what, 1.6. I don't know what this like in miles, but it's very high altitude. So we started at 3,000 kilometer altitude, and we walked all the way up to 3,500. So all the way up, and I wanted to quit, but my son said, no, let's keep going. And I was like, no, I should have quit long time ago. But I told him, well, let's make small steps, small goals, and then maybe eventually we'll make it to the top. And we did. Eventually, the very top was the very cool waterfall. It was called the Sacred Waterfall. So if you spin around 3 times and make a wish, it will come true. So my wish was that I would never do that again, ever. So I hope that my wish will come true. Back to you, Christina.
Thank you, Yalan. What a beautiful story. I completely identify with that. I'm not a hiker either. Our next topic is about sharing our gifts with others. So the quote is, it's a sign of strength, not of weaknesses, that we admit that we don't know the answer. So for that, I'd like to call upon Akib, please. Please welcome Akib to the stage. So the question is, it's a sign of strength, not of weakness, to admit that you don't know all the answers.
Admitting your mistake is a sign of strength. How many of you have been in a situation wherein you don't know the answer, but you want to say that you know the answer? Lot of interviews which I have attended, there were questions which I wish I knew, but sadly I didn't know, and I had to pretend that I know. Those answers which I was trying to project that this is right were not coming properly. People can literally see on my face that I'm lying. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever we try to say something which we don't believe in, won't come properly. It will always feel like you're lying, you're trying to act. And that is where I realized that I should not do it. I should not say things which I don't know. I should just literally say, boss, this question answer, I do not know. There are things which I know. If you want to ask from those reasons, I'll be able to answer. Otherwise, this is not my cup of tea. Slowly and gradually, I was able to come on the honest terms. And now when I walk at my office and whenever such situation comes, when I don't know the answer, very confidently, I'll be saying, this problem, I don't have any answers currently. But trust me, if you give me, say, couple of days, if you give me some 2 to 3 hours to think upon, I'll be the first person who will come up with answer. I'll be the one who will learn it quickly and give you a proper answer. And that's my strength. Now people know that whatever question, whatever situation that we face in our life, nobody know. I mean, everyone comes afresh in this world. You get to different situation, you act differently, you get different answers. But if someone is able to fight with those questions, fight with those situations and come up with the right answer, I think he is a winner. And that is the strength. That is the area we all should work upon. Not knowing is okay, but knowing the ways to get the answers is everything. Over to you, Christina.
Thank you, Akib. That was a really nice answer. I think we've all been in those situations where we've been stuck behind an interview and thinking, I don't even understand the acronym. Next up, we've got a nice quote. Life is not about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. Life is not about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. And on that topic, I'd like to please call Deja to the floor. Please welcome Deja.
Thanks, Christina. Life is not about getting through the storms, but learning to dance in the rain. I think that quote is very true. It's a metaphor for storms being bad or challenging times in your life. And you think that your life is going to start just as soon as all the bad stuff, all the challenging, all the obstacles are past. But the truth is, there will never be a time where you're not facing a challenge or hitting an obstacle. And it's also because it is during those times that you grow and experience the most out of life that I feel that you experience the most out of life when you are challenged, when you face an obstacle, when you overcome that challenge or that obstacle, the feeling of strength that you feel, the feeling of success, pride, it is so worthwhile and it's part of the human experience. So I'd say that learning to dance in the rain, learning to enjoy those times of challenge, enjoy the journey, not the destination, the journey where you experience all of the things that you will overcome to get to where you're trying to go. That is life. You're going to experience challenges and obstacles throughout your entire life. And if you just keep waiting to enjoy your life until all of them have passed, you'll never enjoy your life. So that's why I very much agree with that quote. Life is not about waiting for the storms to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. The storms give you rain, the storms give you challenges. Learn to enjoy those challenges. Learn to celebrate those challenges because that's what life is about. That experiencing, overcoming, and just dancing. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Disha. That was beautiful. What a lovely answer. Do we have time for one more topic?
I think not anymore. How about am I correct, Rukaya?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Yeah, I mean, do we have one more, a little bit more time for one more speaker?
Yes, we can just take one speaker.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Well, for the last table topic for this session, my quote is from Rumi, and it is, "Only courageous hearts can endure the bitterness of truth." Only courageous hearts can endure the bitterness of truth. And I'd like to call upon our Toastmaster, Ayu, to answer that question. Please welcome Ayu to the stage.
You know what? I really want to give this question to Michelle. Michelle, are you there? This question is perfect for you.
What's the question?
Christina, please.
You weren't paying attention.
No, I was packing. I was moving around.
I have a quote for you from Rumi, and it's, "Only courageous hearts can endure the bitterness of truth." Only courageous hearts can endure the bitterness of truth. Over to Michelle.
Wow, that's pretty profound for somebody who hasn't had coffee yet. Let me see. Only courageous hearts can endure the bitterness of truth. If it's a question of would I agree or disagree, yes, absolutely, I agree with that. It is, you need to have strength and courage, I guess, to be able to take the truth, especially when it is a painful truth. And oftentimes, truth can be not only inconvenient, but actually straight out painful. Sometimes truths, for example, about medical situations or truths about relationships. For example, and thankfully it didn't happen to me, but it's happened to members of my family or some friends. I have had to help, at least try and support someone who says, but he just told me flat out that he doesn't love me anymore. Cry, cry, cry. And I would try and get this person to understand that that is probably better. He could have maybe said it gentler, maybe like the song Angela Bofield, Broken It Gently. But the fact is, that's probably better that the person told you directly that he doesn't want to be with you anymore, rather than he started having somebody else, or worse, that you would get to hear this news, this painful truth from somebody else. Yikes, that would be really painful. So it takes courage to accept that, but also magnanimity and, largeness of heart to be able to thank the person for sharing that truth with you and not delivering it in some other way. I agree with that statement, although it's easier to agree mentally than to actually feel it when you're on the receiving end of a painful truth. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Michelle. What an amazing answer. It was a great cop-out, but it was a perfect topic for Michelle. And I love the word magnanimity. How perfect is that? So on that fabulous ending, I'm going to hand back to our Toastmaster, Ayu. But just really wanted to say thank you, everybody, for fabulous topics. Well done in participating. Back to you, Ayu.
Thank you so much, Christina. This is why I always miss and here in the RSS, learning about everything. from Christina with all the quotes, from Michelle with her examples, and from everybody stories. I want to show you this. Look, this girl has a fear of water, but slowly, which is saying something, she finally calmed, and I can even let my hand off. You can still see she's still like that. But fear, again, very related with weakness. But when she able to handle her fear and just sit there and finally I could actually enjoy the warm water, I remember myself. I remember all of us human. Sometimes we are afraid of something. Maybe we think it's our weakness, but try it out. Try it. See if you like it or not. Sometimes you will surprise that that is actually a way for us to climb our own mountain and be at the top. With that, I would like to hand over the meeting to our general evaluator, Ravi Shankar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Ayu. We've now begun the third segment of our Toastmasters meeting. This is the evaluation segment. And we'll begin this by inviting over the evaluator for our first speaker. The first speaker was Yasmin, and her speech will be evaluated by Deja. Over to you, Deja.
Thank you, Ravi. Yasmin, thank you for an excellent speech. What I could hear of it, unfortunately, I experienced audio issues about halfway through. I did take several notes, and I was able to take notes on at least your gestures and mannerisms. You had a big smile. You asked a question in the beginning to engage the audience, and you had small pauses to pace yourself and allow the audience to follow along. One quote that stood out in the very beginning: money is not the word that comes to mind when we relate happiness. And I agree. When you ask the question, what do you think of when you think of happiness? I thought of inner peace. Money didn't even come to mind. I saw on the screen that money is not happiness. It seems like such an excellent topic that I'm so bummed that I missed the body of your message. The only comment that I had about what I heard in the beginning is maybe lower the pitch of your voice a little bit. Other than that, the clarity of what you spoke is excellent. Your eye contact, as much as we can see through Zoom, excellent. Gestures, I noticed that you did use gestures as well, and that was great. Comfort level, of course, you are very comfortable delivering speeches. Interest, you got my interest. Again, so bummed that I couldn't hear the body of the message. Engagement, you engaged the audience in the beginning by asking a question. And topic, very interesting topic. So I gave you all 5s in those, except for vocal variety. Just my comment about lowering the pitch of your voice. Here, I'd like to ask the audience if there's any other comments that you have on the body of her message that you can help supplement my evaluation. I'm being vulnerable here, saying that I was not able to provide the best evaluation for Yasmin due to my audio issues. So if anybody wants to show the beauty of humanity as I explained earlier when discussing vulnerability and help me out, that would be fantastic. Nobody? How about, can anyone at least give me a little synopsis about the body of the message? Because I am very interested in what Yasmin had to say.
Deja,
Yes.
yes, I was moving around, so I was not seeing her. I have my screen off as well, but I was moving around. You've been here. It's a fairly small place.
Yeah.
What I heard was the timbre of her voice throughout the speech. She was very, I think the word is lilting. There was life in her voice. That was one thing. It's the only thing that I captured. And like you, unfortunately, I was unable to get the gist of her speech. My own fault, not an audio glitch, because back to you.
Well, I am unable to see if I've reached any colors on my timing. How am I doing?
It's overtime.
Oh, okay. Then I will pass it back to Robbie. Thank you.
Thank you for that evaluation, Deja. And although we are running short of time, I just had something that I wanted to show to everybody, especially to you, Deja.
Yep, there you go.
All right. Okay. Now let's move on to the evaluation for our second speaker. Our second speaker for today was Michelle, and her evaluator is Tiger. Over to you, Tiger.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. This was connecting with storytelling. Very simple objective. Tell a speech as a story. And of course, Michelle did tell us a story. So good job on that. In terms of structure, was there a beginning? Yes. I'm not a big fan of asking a question. However, Michelle did a really good thing. She asked the question and then she allowed people to answer. Because oftentimes people ask a question and then just go right to the next thing. So good job with that. There obviously was a body. The conclusion I will come back to later. Practice. Did she practice the speech? I think she practiced a little. She knew in her head what she wanted to say. Obviously, storytelling, she knew the story, and it came across as being rehearsed somewhat, definitely. It was entertaining. E, enthusiasm. Michelle has no enthusiasm. We all know that. She's only on her 4th cup of coffee. She hasn't woke up yet. Just kidding. Of course, she's enthusiastic. She loves telling her stories. Engagement, eye contact, excellent eye contact. Michelle's been on Zoom for years and she's figured out how to look at that silly little light. Very well done. In terms of body language, not great body language because she was sitting, but her hand gestures were very good. She got her hands up so we could see her gestures. So that was well done. In terms of vocal variety, there was some vocal variety. I think she could have probably done more with the vocal variety, especially in dialogue. But overall, I think the vocal variety was satisfactory. Did she communicate a message? Well, you tell me. Are you going to walk away and remember what she said? What was the message? Is weakness a sign of strength? I think she communicated a message. Humor. Michelle. You know me, I want to laugh, and I got to tell you, even though I was taking notes, I didn't laugh a whole lot. There was a lot of opportunity for humor in this speech, and I think that you missed out on that. Overall, an excellent speech. 2 recommendations. Number 1, I already alluded to, was the humor. Actually, 3 recommendations, I'm sorry. The other one was the dialogue. I think you could have had more fun with the dialogue. More vocal variety, more eye contact going back and forth. And then the last thing, the conclusion. This is my story and I'm sticking to it. It's not a conclusion. You had plenty of time to wrap it up. You had a great message, and I think that 10, 15 seconds, you could have wrapped up what your message actually was about strength being a weakness. Other than that, it was an entertaining story. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tiger, for that evaluation. Now I would like to call upon our grammarian of the day, our guest, Stephen, our senior guest, Stephen, if I may, to share his report.
Yeah, so first of all, I would like to call out some great expressions in this meeting. First from Yasmin, she said like trade-off of acquiring these services, and also really like her last sentence. Let's break from being manipulated. That's from Yasmin. Next one, I think I have is from Michelle. Lower the voice to make yourself professional. My integrity was questioned. Yeah, some also other ones like cold from being melted. Lots of good expressions. Next one is from Christina. Christina has so many proverbs today. I keep writing, but like master your strength, outsource your weakness. Great friction is fueled by bad decision and healed by weakness. So many, just I think there are more, maybe just two of them, for example. Just so many. These are good expressions. And also from Tiger's speech, I think he used the same. He did his speech last time. He used this speech structure, which is really good. Structure, practice, enthusiasm, engagement, communicate the message. Awesome. Humor. And regarding the word of day, I jot down, I think Yasmin used one time, Michelle twice, Christina twice, Yalan, no, Equip one time. I think also Deja, you used a few times, four times at least. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's my report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Stephen, for that report on the grammar for today's meeting. With that, I would now like to call upon our counter for the day, and that is none other than our Toastmaster of the day as well. Are you?
What did I do? What I don't say? Well, it seems okay. This is my report. I don't hear a lot of or filler words, because I usually, if somebody says it too many times, I will like, why this person say it over and over again. So I guess my report will be, congratulations, Roseburg speakers and storytellers. We are quite good by not doing too many filler words. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you for that, counter, Ayu. I know it's difficult being both Toastmaster of the day and the counter. It's a tough task, especially with all of our technical glitches. So thank you for that. And I think she threw in a lot of humor there as well. I could see Tiger laughing away. So I'm sure he's happy as well. With that, I'd like to call upon our timer for the day, Toastmaster Rukaya. I think she's shared the timing for all the speeches on chat, but I would still want her to present her report before we move on. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Everybody was on time except for Deja in her table topics as well as the evaluation round. So, and otherwise everybody else was on time. So kudos. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that short and sweet report, Toastmaster Rukaya. With that, let me also keep my report short and sweet. I think we're running out of time as well. I've been back to, or rather, this is my meeting in Roseburg after a very long time. I'm really glad I was able to join in today. The Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Ayu, had chosen a wonderful theme for today. And not only her, and not only the table topic master Christina, but every single member who has spoken so far, every single guest who has spoken so far has spoken about the theme and has weaved stuff about the theme throughout what they've spoken. It was a really wonderful meeting that way. Although we had some glitches in the very beginning in terms of people picking up roles or we missing some of our role players, I think we were able to handle that beautifully well. So that's something that we've been doing very well all the way from the time I've been with Roseburg. So that's something that I don't want to comment any further on. I will echo what our grammarian for today, Stephen, mentioned about the table topics. Toastmaster Christina had amazing topics and they were really insightful topics that she's chosen. Thank you very much for that. They complemented the theme very well. So kudos to both the Toastmaster of the day and to the table topics master. The speeches were really good, and I think the evaluators have provided enough evaluation comments on how to improve them. It was lovely to hear the impromptu speakers as well. They did a very good job, and so did the role players, be it the grammarian or the R counter, or for that matter, our timer, right? So that's my report for today. And now I shall hand it back over to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Ayub.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with me. Thank you, Madam, Mr. General Evaluator. I even forget that you will hand it back to me. With that, it's everything we have been gone through 3 sessions, and now it's time for me to hand it over to our president, Miss Yasmin Telwala.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Ayub. It's 1 minute. Difficult for me to be short. I'm going to be very crisp. If I have to say in one word how we did it today, then that's perhaps happiness and awesomeness. 2 words. Sorry for that. And we all know it is RSS, you, who make it go so well and makes a whole lot of difference. So the joy of learning together, being in a warm environment, is what defines RSS, and let's continue with that spirit. And thank you yet again for making yourself available. We love everyone, all the members. Very nice to see you. All the guests, you are really part of our family. So please keep visiting us, and senior guests, think of upgrading yourself to be called as RSS members in the future. So with this, I'll officially adjourn the meeting.